Amalie. This is Susie Libertor, owner and art director of Visions to Images, helping your business get branding on track and create that unforgettable visual identity. I'm here today with Amalie Shaffer. She's an integrator and business operations consultant. She helps people with subcontracting and all of that stuff where we don't want to deal with it. So I'm glad to have her on here. Tell us a little bit about your backstory, Amalie.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much for having me on, Susie. So I started my business after I transitioned out of the military. I was in the Navy. I was active duty for 6.5 years, and I was in the reserves for 2. And when I got off active duty, I decided I wanted to start my own business. And I actually started out doing professional organizing, and then I wanted to learn how to market that business. And as I did it, I stumbled upon this entire internet online world, business world that I knew nothing about. And so I started to offer VA services, really just anything I could get my hands on. So anything someone would say yes to, even if I didn't know how to do it, I would say I could. I'd figure it out. A lot of Google, a lot of YouTube. But anyway, so then once I did that, I learned Facebook ads. So I did those, and I did marketing strategies. So the more I learned, the more I found out that, people really needed the strategy before I could provide them the service of doing their Facebook ads for them. So then I started offering that, but then I was really missing something. I felt, I was really missing kind of telling people what to do and managing all the pieces. So that's when I found this role as an integrator, which combining it with the digital marketing strategy and knowing how to manage people, processes, and projects. So kind of marrying all those things together really was the perfect role for me. And so that's how I came to be where I'm at. And now I'm in a place where I'm mentoring people on how to do what I do as an integrator, and I'm doing business operations consulting. So working with businesses to help them work more efficiently, help them build their teams and all those things. So that's kind of where I'm at now.
Yeah, I think building a team is critical, whether it's just as a business or a solopreneur, like outsourcing, stuff like that. There's a lot of things that I don't even know when it comes to subcontracting and all of that. It's probably like people shy away and they don't want to do it because they're like, I don't know how.
Yeah. And it's hard to delegate when you've been doing everything by yourself. So it can be a little intimidating or just seem like it's a lot of work to bring someone on, and it's just easier to do it yourself. But at that point, you're really kind of cutting yourself short, because at some point, you need to hire someone to help you, or you're just going to stay at, you're going to plateau and just stay there for
or crash.
Yeah, or crash. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So tell me what you're most excited about. I know that you have a new launch that you just did, so I'm super excited to hear more about that.
Yeah. So, I guess I'm excited about 2 things. So one thing is my hire your first contractor bundle. So for clients, they would hire me to help them build their team. I would do the whole interview process. Well, first I would start with, figuring out who they need to hire, doing the job description, putting everything together, going through the interview process, doing the first interview, and I'd tee them up for the second interview, which is what the client would do. And then I would onboard those people as well. So I started doing it for clients. And I thought, well, if someone doesn't want to hire me to do it, I could at least give them my process. So I took my process and I put it into a bundle, and I now sell it for $27 on my website. And it comes with swipe files for SOPs. It comes with Trello boards for the interview process and the onboarding process for your contractor. There's a huge checklist that goes through all the steps from figuring out who you need to hire to, interviewing the person. So it walks you all through that. And then there's a couple other email template things I threw in there for communicating with people that you're hiring or not hiring, and some spreadsheets to help keep you organized. So I threw all that together, and it's $27.
That's awesome. Is it only for business owners, or can larger companies use it as well?
So it's built for online businesses that are hiring remote contractors. So okay. I think someone could use it, but it's more built for the online world, because it talks about how to go find people, looking for them in Facebook groups and things like that. So unless you're used to doing that kind of prospecting or research, it might be new for you, but they could absolutely use it.
That's awesome.
And the second thing I'm excited about is my podcast that I have with my friend Janine. It's called Systematic Excellence Podcast. And we talk everything about leadership and business operations. We do interviews with people so we can get some real life stories. And then we break down some of the concepts that we cover on there as well.
That's great. Yeah, I like that idea of the podcast. That really is helpful. And $27, that's so cheap.
Yeah. I wanted to make it accessible, and it's there. So I'm excited about it, and
yeah, I think that's great. So is it very generic in a sense where, like, if I needed to hire a website designer or an SEO person, like you can still get all the stuff you need?
Yep. And I talk about, needing, depending on who you're hiring, you'll need to specify skills that you want them to have. So like a copywriter, you're going to want to see their portfolio. A web designer or a graphic designer, you're going to want to see their portfolio and things like that.
Okay.
So you can use it. And I do talk to those things as far as like, what you'd be looking for from someone.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, thanks. And I'll put the link in the comments below so people can find that as well. My last question for you is, there a tip or two that can kind of help people either with the online world, entrepreneurship, marketing, anything that you've experienced that you're like, I wish I would have known when I started?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So my first one is that if you think that you need to hire someone because you're feeling like it's a lot, it's probably too late and you really need to get on it, right? So if you don't feel like you need to hire someone, you should start thinking about hiring someone, because you want to do it before it's so overwhelming that it's painful to like take the time to create the processes. So, when you're working with someone, like in your mind, how to do all the things, right? You're doing this, you're doing that, you're putting your social media on this scheduler for this time, and then it just goes out and it, right? But when you're working with someone, they're not inside your head. So you need to literally take what's in your head and put it somewhere in a Google Doc or in Trello or Asana or something that someone can follow step by step so that they're following the procedure that you follow. So although you might not call it a procedure because you just go and do it, it is a procedure. It's a process. And so if you're at the point where you're really feeling the pain of working by yourself and you don't have any support, it is going to be a little bit overwhelming at that point to start to create the processes, and train someone on it all at the same time. But something I recommend doing, so if you are in a place where you're feeling the pain, just start recording yourself with Loom as you're doing your processes. So just start Loom. So Loom, they also have Loom for desktop. So I don't know if you know that. I just learned it a couple weeks ago and it's fantastic. It has it for desktop. So just start going through your process of what you do. So whatever it is that you're going to hire for. So let's say you're going to hire someone to upload your blogs for you. Okay. And you're going to say, okay, I wrote the blog. You're going to record yourself. I wrote the blog. I'm going to take it. Okay, I'm going to proofread it. Then I'm going to take it. I'm going to put it onto my website. This is how I do it. Record yourself doing it. So then all you have to do, right? So eventually you want to have all the SOPs written out and all that great stuff. But for now, just take that video and put it on a spreadsheet. Just say, process for uploading blog, put the link to the Loom video, and then you can actually get someone that they can just start watching the video to help you, right? Make sure that they have all the logins that they need. And then you can just kind of go from there.
Awesome.
So that's kind of a quick way to get someone to delegate a process to someone without it taking up too much time.
I like that a lot. Yeah, because I think about that all the time when I'm like about to hire somebody or subcontract something. I'm like, how do you even juggle what you got to do?
Right. So just record yourself doing, because you have to do it anyway, right? You're going to do it anyway. Just record yourself, and then they can write up the SOP later on. Just task them to write it up, right? So hey, once you've gone through this a couple of times and you understand it, just put it into a standard operating procedure.
That's awesome. I really like that tip. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. No problem.
I love it. Yeah, I think everybody needs that. Okay. Is there anything else you want to say?
Nope, that's it. Thank you so much for having me. And we'll put my links and stuff if anyone, has questions or wants to reach out. I'll put, how you can contact me in the notes then.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for coming on.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Bye.